people? I'm excited to record this video intro for you. I was recently asked to be on the Bizzy Crochet's podcast, which is on YouTube, and I think she also has it as like a podcast. But I, of course, anytime I feel like I have a good conversation with somebody else in the fiber arts world, I always want to make kind of a highlight reel of different parts of it so that I can then add different information on it to get out to people in our blog as well as, on my podcast, because, why cover the same topic more than once if we already covered it really great the first time. So next few episodes of both the YouTube channel, if you're looking at my sweaty face right now, or if you're listening to this on my iTunes or Spotify podcast, the Crafty Housewife Yarns, I think it's called Gin and Spin, is what we jokingly called the podcast. It's a reference to our, the old YouTube segment. Then that's what these segments are going to be. I'm probably going to record an intro with just more in-depth information on whatever each of the topic was, but Bizzy Crochet is where, if you want to see the entire interview, please go to her YouTube channel, and that's Bizzy Crochet, B-I-Z-Z-Y, Crochet. You can find her on YouTube, and she is a talented crochet pattern designer and has a lot of other good interviews from lots of people in the fiber arts community, including a handful of my friends. So I was very excited to be included in on her series, and thank you. And anyhow, this was the first segment that we were talking about. We were talking about the name of my business, which is Crafty Housewife Yarns, which if you've been in, in and about my community at all, you know that it's kind of an inside joke. So there's not really too much more of an introduction to give on that. So I will just let this lead into the interview with Bizzy Crochet. But I did just want to kind of, since this was the first segment I'm putting out, and I will of course link the full show that she has, I wanted to give sort of an introduction to the introduction so that you're not like, who is this person and what are they talking about and why does this sound a little bit different than usually, my usual just me talking or me spinning. So anyhow, that's what's going on. I hope you're excited. I think we covered a lot of fun stuff, and it's kind of, this was a fun deeper dive into kind of the fiber arts community and marketing and indie business and different things that I know I get asked about a lot, that is not necessarily just like worsted versus woolen spinning, because honestly, I have covered so many, and I'm going back and kind of redoing, because some of my videos are so old. If you're watching this on YouTube, some of my videos are so old that I either have just better camera capabilities at this point because time has progressed, and I got a new camera, or just I can make better, less rambly videos on specific topics. So while I am redoing some of my earlier popular how to spin videos, just maybe more specific topics. I've already covered so much on beginning spinning and different techniques and troubleshooting that it's fun to be able to get into more of the marketing and business and just fiber arts world in general. So I really hope you enjoy this. And like I said, if you're on YouTube, you can find me on, an actual audio podcast. We actually are on like season 3. I never talk about having an audio podcast, but I'm actually on season 3 of said audio podcast, and it is on, like I said, Spotify or iTunes. So just search Crafty Housewife Yarns. And I don't really have good analytics on podcasts, so I don't know. There could be a whole bunch of people listening to them, or there could be nobody. I don't know. So go check them out. I know I personally love podcasts. I constantly have my earbuds in listening to podcast or music or something, because I usually don't want to be listening to the whatever movie my kids are watching for the 5,000th time on repeat, because you know how little kids are. So if that is also you, I have a podcast. So and if you're listening to this on the podcast, then congratulations. Please go, I also have a YouTube channel if you want to see what I look like on camera. There's also YouTube. So either or, here is the first little introduction from this interview.
Hi, Erin. Thanks so
Hi.
much for joining me today on the Buzz of Bizzy Crochet. I'm super excited for you to get to talk to my audience.
Well, I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started with like the simple questions. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Where are you from? What's your family like?
Cool. Okay. Well, those I can probably field those pretty easily. My name is Erin James, and I'm the owner of Crafty Housewife Yarns, and I also sort of the My Local Wool. We recently just absorbed into Crafty Housewife Yarns, so we'll just stick that in there together. I'm a mom. I have two little kids. I have two girls. They just had birthdays. They are 8 and 10. They're gonna get They are. They're so funny. Like, I definitely have nothing bad to say about 8 or 10. And I'm married, and I have a dog and two birds, and I make lots of yarn and bad jokes on the internet. Here I am.
Well, you're my kind of people then. So what kind of dog do you have?
She is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and her name is Jolene, because we live in Knoxville. And she is so cute, she will steal your man. It's the ongoing problem at our house. The kids get upset because my husband always says that Jolene is his favorite child, and like they know he's joking, but like he's kind of not joking. So it's an apt name. And she is in a lot of. I have a YouTube channel, and so she's actually our second Cavalier, and so both
is
her.
She a ginger?
Say what?
Is she a ginger?
No, she's tricolor, and our first one was a Blenheim, and they're in lots of my videos. So there's always, and like I forget they're there, but there's generally a sleeping Cavalier in the, and usually my children at different varying ages in the background of most of my videos.
That's awesome, though. I love the family atmosphere of videos, and I love watching people just share their life, and that, we don't have to be tight and stuffy. It can be very comfortable. Alrighty, I would like to talk to you about your business. And let's start with your business name, because you and I had a little bit of a conversation before we started. And I love the kind of tongue-in-cheek attitude, I guess, of your business name.
Yes, that's what I was saying. My business name that was never really supposed to be a business name. My business started out really small. I was basically my goal was if I could sell a few random hats on Etsy. And then when I started spinning, it was it was amazing to me, and I loved it. And having a fine art background, I personally loved like the one of a kind aspect of it. So I was like, that's the thing. If I can just get the hand spun to the people on the internet. And so the name of the business was literally just on Etsy it's like type in the name of the shop. And we're from South Carolina, even though we're in Tennessee now. But we had been living in Washington State when we had the girls and when I started the business. And it was Eastern Washington. I did not particularly fit in culturally. And so many things that I grew up with just being kind of like culturally the South, like manners, certain ways of phrasing things, doing things like yarn crafts and sewing and cooking and that sort of thing. I felt I was always getting the reaction from people that I was like this repressed Southern belle or something, which was random, that was not how I felt about myself at all. And so the name was just kind of a joke on being a crafty housewife, and I started out with kind of more a vintage pattern notion, so it went with the theme, but it was mainly just a joke on people's perceptions of that anything that was stereotypically old-fashioned or feminine was therefore bad. And then the double entendre of crafty also meaning smart, like being crafty. So that was what it meant. And then when I was telling you, it did make me laugh. I started noticing on, as my business grew and grew, on my analytics of my current site, I started having these referrals from someplace that I didn't know where they were. I was like, what is this? I'm like, that's great, but where are these coming from? And when I went and clicked through to the URL, it was some sort of list on the internet that was like 20 best places to buy yarn online. And for the list, which I was like, oh, wonderful, fantastic. And when I looked at the description for my business, it was, and you'd still find it, it's out there somewhere. It was, despite the sexist name, still a great place to buy yarn. And I was like, how am I I was just like, okay, whatever. So we've taken it as a joke and kind
Oh
of
my
ripped on it.
gosh.
And then our branding is like very pink and gray and taupe, and everybody says not to do
Yeah,
pink.
it's a cute website.
Yeah, thank you. I like it. So now we keep joking now that with the Barbie craze, which I love Barbie, but like everybody's
Oh,
at the
me
pink
too.
now, and I'm like, I was pink when none of you people like pink.
Yes, me too. I've got Barbie on my shelf up there. Like I've got a whole
Oh,
collection of Barbie stuff. I know you can't see it, but
I did. Yeah, I saw her up in the background.
my little Peter Rabbit one, collector's one, and then I've got my little Barbie in a tractor because I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin. So I mean, you
Oh yeah,
know,
I've been pink and tacky forever, so I'm glad I'm in
absolutely.
style for once.
Barbie was always my favorite toy, and I'm just not going to be ashamed of it.
Exactly.
So, just I'm a little behind here, but this is Erin's website if you want to go and check it out because there's a lot of really great resources on there, and not to take anything. We're going to stay fun, but I want to get serious too because I really really like your website and the fact that you're very much an advocate for the small farmer, the small business.